You ever notice how public transportation just seems to pull people's true colors right out of them? Let me tell you, this one morning on the city bus, man, it started with the kind of slap in the face you only get before your first cup of coffee's even hit. The whole thing still sits in my memory like a bruise that's tender in a way you almost respect. So there I was, clutching that sticky yellow pole, knees creaking, back on fire in a way that's become a sad, old friend of mine. The warehouse life took a toll, one bad day with a forklift. And now standing more than 10 minutes feels like someone's jamming a screwdriver between my vertebrae. I always tried to snag the priority seat by the front, get it before the real crowd swarmed in, and that day I was lucky. Or so I thought. Bus rumbles through downtown, rain misting the glass, city looking hungover. Everyone's in their own little bubble, headphones in, eyes dead. I was half zoned out, thinking about lunch and bills and nothing, when this voice comes at me like a siren. Excuse me. Not the kind of excuse me that means sorry, but the kind that means move. I look up and see this woman, maybe early 40s, tough as old boot leather, denim blouse fighting for its life around her arms. She's already got her bag cocked on her hip, like she's ready for a showdown. She doesn't say hi. She doesn't ask. She just goes, "That's a priority seat." I tell her, "Yeah, I know." She's not hearing it. "You should get up. It's for people who actually need it." Right then, you could feel all these eyes flicker over. People pretending not to watch, but you know how it is. Drama's the best part of the commute. My pulse kicked up, but I tried to stay even. "I've got a back injury, ma'am. I need to sit." She snorts, really just snorts. "Oh, please. You look fine. Young people like you are always making excuses. I've been on my feet all morning at the doctor." The driver, guy's been around the block, silver hair peeking from under his cap, calls back, "Let's keep it calm, folks. First come, first serve." That's the only help I got. She's not letting up. See? No respect. Everybody thinks they're special. I wish I could say I just let it roll off, but honestly, my hands were shaking, gripping my backpack. I glanced over, caught this young guy's eyes, him bouncing between us like he was at Wimbledon. Someone near the back muttered, "Here we go." And I thought, yeah, that happened. I said, "I can't stand for long." "Really?" She snaps. "Then maybe you shouldn't ride the bus if you're that fragile." That one hit. You ever get insulted so clean it's like you don't exist? That's how it felt. I just stayed put, feeling myself shrink and grow sharper all at once. Then the bus hits a pothole. She lets her bag swing into my arm. Didn't even blink. "Unbelievable," she grumbles, loud enough for everyone to hear. I could feel the tension crackling through the bus. Teenagers snickering, old women shaking their heads. Everybody uncomfortable, but nobody stepping in. I stared down, grinding my teeth. That old instinct screaming, "Don't talk back. Just take it. Keep your head down." But something shifted in me, maybe the millionth time's the charm. Next thing I know, she's crowding me so hard. I have to get up just to breathe. She swoops into the seat, throws herself down with a huff like she just won a war, and immediately whips out her phone. She starts yammering to whoever, loud enough for the whole bus to hear, about how some guy tried to fake an injury to steal my seat. Every word is aimed right at me. I stood there, trying to become wallpaper, but that humiliation was sinking deep. Someone gave me a pity smile. Small mercies, right? The thing is, I started recording. Just slipped my phone out, opened the camera, aimed it discreet, and let it run. I didn't even know what I'd do with it, but it made me feel like I hadn't just vanished. She caught me looking, snarled, "Are you filming me?" "No, just checking the time," I said, holding her stare. She turned away, muttering again, but something had shifted. Now, I was in control. I held on to that little spark, even as my stop came up and I bailed off that bus into the rain, feeling like the whole city was pressing in on me. Back in my apartment, I slumped into a chair and stared at the video. Her face frozen mid-yell. All that contempt. Part of me wanted to delete it. Forget the whole thing. But I played it again, over and over. I thought, maybe people should see this. Not for revenge, but for respect. For the people who don't look sick, but are. I posted it. Caption was simple. Not all disabilities are visible. Sometimes, respect just means believing someone. I figured nothing would come of it. Made some eggs, tried to sleep before my next shift. When I woke up, phone was melting down. Notifications pouring in. Comments, shares, hundreds, then thousands. People furious. Hashtag started trending. Hashtag Buskarin. Turns out, she was kind of famous for this sort of thing. Her job got wind. PR meltdown, apology video, the works. I watched it all unfold like someone else's movie. Felt guilty for a split second. But then people started sharing their own stories. Times they'd been dismissed, called liars, pushed aside. People were angry. Yeah, but mostly they were relieved to see it called out. The transit company even sent me a message. Free bus pass, official apology, a note about raising awareness. I read it twice. Maybe it sounds cheesy, but for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. News ran with it. Entitled Passenger, Viral Bus Clip, Empathy Debates. Matt, my coworker, shows up, phone in hand. Dude, you're famous. I told him. I didn't take anyone down. She did that herself. He clapped my shoulder, said his mom cried watching the video, said it reminded her of getting ignored at the doctor's office. Guess it struck a nerve. Next day, Susan, yeah, her real name, internet found it, got suspended from her job. Tried to post an apology, blamed a bad day. But you know how the internet is. Sometimes, the consequences hit hard and keep rolling. I stayed quiet. Didn't answer the interview requests. I didn't need more noise in my life. The point had been made. All I did was hold up a mirror. One morning, maybe a week later, I get on the bus. Flash my new pass. Driver grins, says, "This one's on us." I laugh. I've had enough free rides lately. We both chuckle, and the world feels a little lighter. Then, plot twist. She gets on. Susan, hair tucked under a plain gray cap, no swagger left. Face pale, sunglasses on even though the sky's gray. She spots me, hesitates, almost sits next to me, but takes the seat across instead. Bus is dead quiet. You can feel every eye, every held breath. Finally, she whispers, "You ruined my life." I met her eyes, steady, not cruel. "No, you did that when you decided who deserved respect. And who didn't." Her voice shook. "I lost my job. My daughter won't talk to me. I didn't mean for it to go that far." That landed hard. I didn't know she had a kid. Suddenly, she wasn't just the villain from the bus. She was someone's mom, scared and alone. I told her, actions have ripples. You made yours in public. The rest was bound to follow. She muttered, "It was just a bad day." I shook my head. Everyone has bad days. Not everyone uses them as a weapon. A woman behind us said quietly, "Ma'am, maybe it's time to stop blaming and start learning." I slid the disability pamphlet across to her, one from a new campaign I'd helped start after all this. "Keep it," I said. "Might help." She stared at it, face softening, but didn't pick it up. "You think you're better than me now?" she asked, small. "No," I said. "I just stopped letting people like you decide who I am." The driver called out, "Folks, remember, priority seats are for anyone who needs them. Let's keep it decent." Some folks chuckled. Susan slid off at the next stop, melted into the city. No big scene. No fireworks. Just gone. As I left the bus, I paused at the new decal above the seat. It was my handwriting. "Respect is free. Use it generously." Sunlight hit my face as I stepped out. That was it. No grand revenge, no standing ovation. Just closure. Just real, lived change. So, what do you think? Where's the line between justice and overkill? Between calling out and piling on? I'm still chewing on that one. But hey, tell me what you'd have done. Drop a comment. Let's talk about respect, justice, and all the messy middle ground. You know what I mean?